Hi Tamers! Today I want to talk to you about this crazy new Tem, Scaravolt. It's an incredibly cool Tem with the potential to impact the meta in different ways. I've been researching this Tem a lot over the last few days and found some pretty neat stuff. I've got lots to cover in this video, so let's get started. Scaravolt is the first electric and fire Tem. I briefly mentioned in my Chromion video about how wide the coverage of electric is. It's the only type that is strong against 4 other types. You should think about this whenever you see an electric Tem with a dual typing. If that secondary typing complements electric, it's almost guaranteed to do well in the meta. For example, Grumper, Golzy, Nestla, and Scaravolt are all super effective against 6 or 7 other types, and they partially cover their own weaknesses with minimal overlap. Of course, there are other factors that make a Tem good besides just its typing. This is just a pattern that you may have noticed with the release of more electric types. Scaravolt in particular has this great typing and 2 very good traits to choose from. Good Friend, which makes it so your opponent can only attack Scaravolt's partner once per round, and Half Full, which damages Scaravolt for half its health when it first enters the battle in exchange for a huge stat boost. Scaravolt has a pretty decent base stat line, mostly lacking in speed. It's obvious Scaravolt is meant to be played as a bulky special attacker or a pure wall. Let's first talk about a build for its more popular ability, Half Full. Half Full boosts your attack, special attack, defense, and special defense by 1 stage. You probably won't build him to deal physical damage, so let's ignore the attack boost. If you take a second look at the stat line I just showed you and add this boost, he looks a lot better. I'm gonna put a bunch of math onto the screen for you to look at. If you're interested, go ahead and pause and take a look. But the TLDR is that Half Full Scaravolt has the highest special attack, defense, and special defense in the game. He just kinda cheats to get there. On the flip side, he comes in with incredibly low HP, lower than the lowest HP Tem in the entire game, 0B1, but it's harder to break through that HP than on a squishier Tem. Like if you've ever played an MMORPG with tanks and healers, you know it's way easier to heal a tank than it is to heal a DPS. That's because with extra defensive stats, the tank's HP goes a lot further than other classes. So although Half Full Scaravolt comes in with the lowest HP value, its effective HP is about average as far as most Tems go. And of course, if you do have Tems that use Revitalize or Chain Heal, that healing will go a lot further on a Tem like Scaravolt. Scaravolt has potential to be the tankiest Tem in the game as well as the hardest hitting Tem in the game. It just needs a little extra support to get there. So here's my sample build for Half Full Scaravolt. The staple moves I recommend are Thunderstrike, Burrow, Electric Storm, and Fiery Tornado. The best gear is baton-pass. This will heal your Scaravolt for 10% every time it switches in, and like I said before, this 10% will go a long way. It even procs on the first time it enters a battle, giving it 60% HP to start instead of 50%. The stat line I recommend is this. This only matters for tournament play, but you should try and get a Scaravolt with 47 speed SVs, no matter what trait you choose. This makes sure you will underspeed Deceit or a Nagais and be able to threaten it with Thunderstrike. You only lose out on 3 speed, and since Scaravolt is already among the slowest Tems in the game, you won't notice much of a difference. Running 483 HP TVs maximizes how much HP you recover from baton-pass. 267 stamina TVs brings you up to 81 stamina, which will let you attack 4 turns in a row with Thunderstrikes and Fiery Tornadoes. An Electric Storm will cost some extra stamina, so you can only attack 3 turns in a row if you weave in that technique. But you will have enough stamina for Burrow as long as you watch how often you exhaust. 121 special attack is a good breakpoint. It one-shots a lot of bulkier wind Tems like Grandpa with Thunderstrike, and one-shots Surneef with Fire Tornado. You can definitely put more points into this, but I'm confident 121 is about right. The rest goes into defensive stats, focusing on special defense to defend against threats like Ukama and Oshira. You won't die to a single water cannon or aquatic whirlwind even starting at 60% HP, and you will be able to counter with a Thunderstrike to kill those threats. And 6 defense TVs gives you an extra value point. Good partners for Scaravolt are anyone that can heal it and help it stay on the field longer. Kinu comes to mind as a reliable Revitalize healer and can buff its defenses to +2, making it even bulkier. Surneef and Babawa also learn Revitalize and can threaten any ground type switch-ins. 0B10 also shines with Scaravolt because you could purge off any exhaustion you get from Thunderstrike with Source Replicator Bush and apply regeneration. Nagais is also a super good partner. Scaravolt's only problem is its low speed, so this solves that immediately with its Deceit Aura. Scaravolt does have a lot of trouble against Earth Tems, so starting with a melee, nature, or water Tem by its side is especially good. And that's about it for the first build. The second build is if you don't want to run a super strong special attacker on your team and you you want to focus on a tanky support. Let's talk about Scaravolt's Good Friend build. Good Friend's main utility is preventing a double in against the Tem it's partnered with, but Good Friend also has some really interesting nuances to how it actually works. So let me break down a couple of example scenarios. In this example, I target the Scaravolt once with my first Chain Lightning, and Hidoti with Token. Even though I didn't technically target Hidoti with my first attack, it still redirects my second attack since my first attack hit Hidoti. This means it's impossible to hit Scaravolt's partner twice in the same round unless the second technique is a team-wide move. Techniques that don't deal damage also activate Good Friend, meaning if you were to bark at the target with Momo, the move that comes afterward would be redirected to Scaravolt. This goes for Cage as well. If the opponent uses Cage and then a single target move, it will redirect the second attack to Scaravolt, even though Cage didn't actually target Scaravolt's partner. And also, for some reason, if you use an attack that affects yourself, like Crystal Spikes on yourself, it will redirect all of the enemy attacks used afterward to Scaravolt. In this example, I target Valash twice. The enemy Valash Crystal Spikes itself. Both my attacks get redirected to Scaravolt. This also works with non-damaging attacks. So if the Hidoti from before uses Cage, all my attacks get redirected to Scaravolt. If Scaravolt attacks its ally, it doesn't activate Good Friend. The text on Good Friend says rival attacks, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess maybe Good Friend is coded in a way that if any Tem other than Scaravolt attacks its partner, the next enemy attacks are redirected to Scaravolt. So Good Friend is really good at splitting the damage output from an opponent, but not as useful if they have many team-wide techniques to use. Here's my sample build for Good Friend Scaravolt. The best gear to use is Doublescreen. This lets you stay in against most water threats like Oshira and Ukama, and can survive a max special attack Volfi's Dust Vortex. If you're already running Doublescreen on another Tem, Umbrella or Turbin is good as well, depending on whether your team is weaker to water or earth Tems. 500 HP TVs gives you the maximum amount of HP. 152 stamina TVs allows you to use Thunderstrike, Fiery Tornado without overexerting, even with the exhaustion from Thunderstrike. You won't get 4 turns of attacks like the other build, but you will most likely be weaving in burrows in between attacks with this build. 336 special defense lets you survive 2 turns against an Ukama or an Oshira, with a little bit of HP left over. Hopefully this leftover HP is enough to survive the extra damage from their partner. And 6 defense again for the value point. The moves I'd run are almost the same, except I would definitely replace Electric Storm with either Fiery Heist or Magma Cannon. If you have enough Earth Synergizers on your team, Fiery Heist is very good. Magma Cannon if you don't. Scaravolt also learns Cheer Up. If you have a team that could use some hold refreshes, this is a good option. Here's a cool tech. If you run any of the Hellfire users, they get enough speed to outspeed Scaravolt's Cheer Up, so you can drop a Synergy Hellfire every turn if you want to, just by refreshing it with Cheer Up after each usage. This Tem's best partners are any Hellfire user. It's also great with Tems that require setup, like Nagaice and Valash running Madness buff. Like I mentioned before, Nagaice's Deceit Aura makes Scaravolt very fast, letting it shoot off quick Thunderstrikes and burrows, and tanking damage for Nagaice so it can stay healthy after using Madness buff. With Valash, the opponent will most likely be forced into killing your Scaravolt before they can kill Valash, so you can Madness buff for free and get Scavenger proc when Scaravolt eventually falls. If you like running Yowler Kinu on your team, Scaravolt will fit right into their mix. Scaravolt gives Yowler another layer of protection while it sets up with Show Off. Kinu gives Scaravolt some much appreciated bulk and healing, and Scaravolt protects Kinu so it can live longer to give more buffs to your team. If you're running Kinu and Yowlar, you're probably used to one of them being banned each game. Running a Good Friend Scaravolt can help fill the gap that the banned Tem leaves behind. So which Scaravolt build is better? Well, they have polar opposite playstyles. With Half Full, you want to partner Scaravolt with Tems that can keep it alive, and with Good Friend, you want Tems that gain advantage when Scaravolt keeps them alive. No matter which version you choose, I hope this video helped you understand and build your Scaravolt for success. I think he might be my new favorite Tem, from a gameplay standpoint, and he looks really cool. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. My name is Blunk, and I make Temtem videos. If you like this video, thanks! And I want to take a moment to say a special thank you to my current subscribers. You guys have been leaving such super nice comments, and it's so encouraging and heartwarming to see people enjoy these videos. I make sure to read every comment, so if you have any questions or suggestions, don't hesitate to reach out. You guys are awesome, and I can't wait to make more videos for you. So thank you again, and I hope you have an awesome day!